I didn't start out in the public sector. I actually started in the private sector. And after graduate school, I worked for a company in Boston pricing bonds for pension plans. And after doing that for about 5 years, I thought to myself, I'd really like to do something more socially responsible. And so that was back in 1989, and so decided to work in the, actually for state government at that point. And my wife and I decided to transition to Portland, Oregon. And so I worked for the state of Oregon for about 5 years. And actually what's really interesting about my story is that what really got me thinking about the public sector was seeing the governor of Oregon at the time. He was actually on the Today Show. And the Today Show had done a profile of West Coast cities. They started in Vancouver, BC, and they went to Seattle, and then they went to Portland, and then San Diego. And we had been thinking about relocating to the Northwest or the Southwest. And when I saw him talking about the bottle bill and about the strides that Oregon actually made to be more transparent, all the boards and commissions they have, and the fact that the citizenry is really engaged in government, I felt that was something that was more interesting than what I was doing, and something that I thought would have more meaning in my life. And so it was really a TV show that really spiked my interest in the public sector. That coupled with some vacations, going back and forth to Oregon. And then eventually I got a job working for the Department of Transportation on a temporary study. And at that time went on informational interviews, and then got into a program actually in the governor's office. And the program was to train future agency heads. And so it was in the executive department as the fiscal arm of the governor's office, and I was one of many budget analysts, and then eventually rose through the ranks. But it was all because of that TV show, coupled with the interest in a life change to do something more socially responsible, that took me to state government and then eventually to local government in North Carolina. I like the ability to work with a group of people, and so that might be local businesses. Of course, it deals with county staff, but also citizens and neighborhoods to make a difference in their immediate community. And so it could result in, it could be in a project to create a new branch library, which, for example, is one of the more recent projects that I've been involved in, working with the Friends of the Library system, and just really being exposed to people that are so passionate about their living, circumstances, and being able to facilitate the use of resources in county government to make a difference in those communities really is something tangible. And so even though I'm a small part of that, I feel that it's really rewarding to see that library coming out of the ground. We've broken ground. It's exciting to see it coming out of, to be coming online, and eventually it will be open. And so that's something that really just started with an idea, and started with our Board of Commissioners many years ago, setting aside some dollars. But being, again, part of that process so that you can see what's tangible. I guess what's good about it is that your work is tangible, and so that you're involved in things that come to fruition at some point. I really enjoy that. And I also enjoy working with staff that are really committed to what they do. And I think in a lot of cases, people are drawn to local government and other branches of government, not so much for the paycheck, because they really can find meaning in the work. And people that are willing, that are passionate about what they want to do, whether it's helping kids or working with seniors, if it's about solid waste or an engineering project, just people that are really passionate about what they do because they know that that work has meaning for them intrinsically, but also they can make a difference for other people. But I take the time to establish relationships before there is a problem. And so I think if it's a matter of, and I'm very active in my community, I'm on a few different nonprofit boards. I'm very much involved in the Rotary and so forth. And so those are opportunities to really establish relationships with people before there's a need or before there's a problem. And so I think skills that are important for managers these days are facilitation skills. You've got to be able to bring, you need a basic knowledge about what you do and in your organization and about regulations and state requirements and federal requirements and so forth. But I think the ability to be able to ask the right questions, the ability to be sensitive to the needs and the urgency that your organization might have to address an issue or your community, I think those are very important too. Ask people for advice even if you don't need it. And that will accomplish two things. Number one, you might learn something about something you didn't know. And I think number two, I think the people that you're relating to will really appreciate the fact that you're asking them what they think, that you have a need for their knowledge. The career in local government is so rewarding in terms of being able to make a difference, in terms of working with people that are passionate about what they do. And I think also knowing that that you can leave your mark in the world because of the fact that you care, and you have the ability to touch one life at a time. And you can't say that about every career. And that won't change in the future. What will change is how we do that, which is really exciting for me.